Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope everybody has had a great week and I hope you're looking forward to an awesome weekend. Everybody in this class, we're looking at IELTS Task 2 Writing, the main score for the writing section in the IELTS exam. It takes 40 minutes from the 1 hour and it's 2/3 of your writing mark. Welcome Lewis, hi Priya, hi Anna, Anahita, nice to see all of you here. Today's IELTS writing task 2 question will be about teaching manners to children. Now this question was a question for one of our students, Domenico, last month in May in the official exam, where it was a very similar question. So this is from the official IELTS. I believe that was the academic version. However, academic and general IELTS task 2 are very, very similar. This lesson, these materials, these tips that you see in today's class are presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes, and you can sign up to them by clicking the big red button that's above my head. It's a one-time payment. You get lifetime access. We're an IDP affiliate. We're a British Council partner. We're an IELTS test registration center. I'm a certified British Council agent, and we help thousands of students every month succeed on their IELTS test. We save them lots of time and money. Spending $30, $40 on the premium IELTS package could save you hundreds of dollars to not sit the official IELTS multiple times. General IELTS looks like this with the green background. Again, click that big red button to join and fill out the form. You're good to go. You can use the code VISTA10 from one of our recent videos to get an extra 10% discount. Students, this is a YouTube members chat class for this session. We do have an all chat class coming up after this one, which will be a reading class. And for those of you who are premium students on the websites, I will be sending you links to your exclusive premium student Zoom classes for Sunday and Wednesday. If you're curious about those, check out this link here. It is a playlist with those previous premium Zoom classes. Where students get a lot of learning and attention. The classes are about 15 to 20 students. The apps are Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help, and the Instagram is IELTS_AEHelp, GIELTS Help. Lots of free materials in those locations. Check those out. If you have questions, send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. All right, students, so right now writing followed by a reading class a little bit later on in about 2 hours. Tomorrow, lots of speaking, and then premium students, I'm sending you links today. Again, if you haven't not double opted in for the newsletters, please do so you can get those links. Everybody, here's the URL for the speaking video with Alif. It's very popular, viewed by tens of thousands of viewers. All right, so again, Domenico, thank you for sending us this question. I asked Domenico a couple weeks ago if he could share the question that he had on his IELTS. He said it was something like this, and I have seen this question before. I have seen a very similar question like this before. So it's true that IELTS does reuse questions. I mean, IELTS has been going for, I don't know, more than 20 years now. And I think even they're starting to run out of ideas. Can you guess your next question on your next exam? No, there's too many. There are, so there's 1 to 2 exams each week, 50 exams per year, and they've been doing it for 20 years, so there's more than 1,000 possible questions on any topics, and it could be a new question as well. So can you guess what your next exam task 2 question will be? No, it's virtually impossible. All right, everybody, let's do this. So let's do this task 2 question together. And let's write a nice high band essay. Okay, here we go. So first step when you get to the question in the writing section is to simply read the question carefully. Okay, don't rush. I know the writing is after the reading section, and maybe you were rushing and trying to read really fast by the end of the reading section, but don't do that in the writing. You really have to pay attention to the question. So again, this was a question similar, or this is a question similar to a question that was on the test near the end of May, so just a couple of weeks ago. Okay, here we go. IELTS Task 2 Writing. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Some people feel that parents should be responsible to teach their children good manners, while others feel that this is also the responsibility of schools. Discuss both views and give your own opinion. Okay, so we have to talk about both sides and our own opinion. Now, your first step, everybody, to make sure that you really clearly understood this question is to just paraphrase the question, meaning write the question in your own words. Okay, Anahita, very nice. Anahita's one step ahead. Good job, Anahita. Anahita writes, certain individuals ascertain that parents ought to instill positive manners into their children. However, others argue that schools are responsible for this too. Discuss both perspectives and provide your own position. Very nice, Anahita. This word, instill, is very good. It's a very good piece of vocabulary here. Instill, it means to plant a concept into a person or group. Okay, it's like, you can almost think of the word like install, like when you install software or you install an app, but it's not install, it's instill. It's very close, so be careful. If you say install, I installed this idea into my friend, it's kind of like, is your friend a computer? Right? So careful with that. It's just a small difference in the pronunciation. They're very close, these two words. Install, instill. Okay, instill, it's an ill sound. Very nice piece of vocabulary. And you instill into. Okay, it's very, very well used. All right, instead of manners, I would probably paraphrase that, Anahita, in this case into behaviors. You might as well. So positive behaviors are manners. Okay, positive behaviors are generally good manners. So when we're really paraphrasing, we could say positive behaviors. Now, when you're in the IELTS, everybody, be careful. Notice something interesting. I spelled behaviors behaviors, and here I spelled it as behaviors. This is the US spelling. This is the Canadian or British spelling. Both are correct, but in the IELTS you cannot mix British and American spelling. I never talk about that in these speaking classes, but that is an important tip. Okay, in order to get a high band score, you're not allowed to do that. They will mark it wrong. So they will consider one of them incorrect. So if they see that you're using mostly British, but you switch sometimes to American, then they will start marking those wrong. So you cannot combine US and UK spelling, like using behavior and behavior. Okay, one will be considered incorrect. Okay, so don't try to do that. Right? It doesn't happen too often. That's probably why I don't talk about it all that much. Usually most candidates will just stick to one or the other. Now, if some of your words are spelt with American English and some of them are spelt with British English, but you're not mixing them, like you're not spelling the same word both ways, then it's probably okay, because then it will seem like you're using Canadian English, especially if you're taking the IELTS in Canada. Okay. Anna says certain individuals believe that parents have to guide positive manners for their children's development, while others claim that school teachers should teach children how to be well-mannered. Okay, not bad, Anna. It's a little bit wordy, a little bit awkward here and there, but overall not bad. Single and Savvy says there is an ongoing debate about whether it is the sole responsibility of parents to instill good manners in their children, or whether schools should also play a role in a child's upbringing. Good. Priya Lewis, nice. Okay. All right. So your first step is to paraphrase, everybody. Step one, paraphrasing. Paraphrasing helps you to think about the question, think about vocabulary, and you make sure that you understand the question. Okay, so that's why you paraphrase, not because it's your introduction. Okay, and there are still lots of candidates who think that paraphrasing the question is a good way to start the essay. It's very basic, so it is not considered a great introduction to just simply paraphrase. You have to go above and beyond. You have to do more. Okay. All right. Then you identify the topic. So what are we talking about here, everybody? So in the second step, you should always, whether it's IELTS or university or your workplace, when you write an essay, make sure that you have a clear, very, very clear understanding of your topic and your controlling ideas. So step two, clearly identify the topic and controlling idea or controlling ideas. Okay. Anahita says it's children's manners. No, not quite, Anahita. So think about it. You're close. Lois says children's development. Not quite, Lois. If we combine what you're saying and Anahita is stating, then we might have the right answer. Okay. So the topic here, you have to be specific. Okay, it's very important. So the topic here is usually students, a good way to figure out what the topic is take a look at what I wrote for the title. Teaching manners to children. Okay. Yeah. Carolina, perfect, verbatim. And Carolina right at the same time says, I'm pretty sure it's teaching manners to children. I think that's what he titled the lesson. Yes. So teaching manners to children. That's what we're talking about in this case. And the controlling idea is who is responsible. Parents and or schools are responsible for manners. Okay, good. So that's the topic. That's the controlling idea. Now in the next step, again, we move very quickly here, so I'm going to pick up speed because I want to get more into the essay writing today, and so I'm going to go through the planning very quickly. Ask what, why, and how. Now in the real test, you don't have time to write this down necessarily, so you're doing most of this in your head, but you can write it down. A lot of it does become parts of your essay, so all you have to do is kind of transform it or adjust the sentences a bit to make them fit. So ask what, why, how about the topic and controlling idea. Now members, write with me here. So state the questions, state the answers, okay? Do exactly what I'm doing as fast as you can. And if it's not perfect, that is okay, all right? You just need to practice fluency and speed as well as accuracy in your thinking. So what is teaching manners to children? So what does that mean? So it means educating youth about behaviors that are socially preferred for positive interactions and success. Okay. Why is it important to teach manners to children? So that children can socialize effectively, which leads to positive thinking and happiness. Okay. How are manners taught to children? Through verbal instructions and by example. Okay, those are important. All right, so that is my what, why, how regarding the topic of manners. All right, Anahita says, what are good manners that children must learn? The ethical actions that are accepted by humans. Sure, that's one good question to ask, Anahita. Anna says, idea, agree, parents know their children since they were born. 2, idea, disagree, teachers spend lots of time with them at school. Okay, Anna, I think you're brainstorming. I'm not sure where you're going with it. Lewis says they can be sensible citizens in the future, or they can be holistically developed, being successful academically. So those are some answers to some of those questions. Very good, Lewis. I can see that. Lewis says through positive examples set by adults. Absolutely, right? So one is to tell a person what to do. The other is to show a person what to do. And here we're talking about manners with children. Okay. So here the why question becomes very important. So why should parents teach their children good manners? Okay, the answer here becomes very important. Why should schools teach students good manners. Okay, and then last but not least, of course, is my opinion. And then we can make the thesis statement in step 4. Okay, write a quality thesis statement. The thesis statement is the foundation of your essay. It should be direct and concise. Okay. Writing a thesis like "this essay will discuss teaching manners to children and will give my opinion" is not a good essay. It's not a good thesis. Okay, you have to do more than that. So why should parents teach their children good manners? Anahita says because parents are the primary mentors and guardians of their children. Lewis says they are their children's first teacher. Yep. Single and Savvy says children mimic their parents as parents are the primary caregivers right from an early age. Anna says yes, I'm thinking about relevant ideas. Okay, parents are the first role models, right? Okay, so again, students, especially those of you who are taking the academic IELTS exam, when you're in the academic IELTS and you're thinking about these task 2 questions and answers, think academically, okay? So especially for academic IELTS students or candidates, you must think academically like a researcher or a scientist for your task 2 response. This will help you get higher scores. Okay, so for example, in this case, think about numbers. Like first 5 years of life. Okay. Think about logic. Okay, learning to walk, talk, and eat. Okay. All right. Now, when you start thinking like a scientist, okay, like learning to walk, talk, and eat, how does this relate to manners? So if you're thinking about this walk, talk, and eat, how is that connected to manners, everybody? And you carry the thought forward, right? So you can go, okay, talk politely. Saying please and thank you. Okay. Eat with etiquette. Keep elbows off the table. All right. So that's what you should be doing. You should be visualizing as you're thinking through this, and you should be thinking like a scientist. You should be thinking like a researcher who's researching manners and polite behaviors in children in sociology or anthropology or psychology, cultural history. So there are lots and lots of different schools of study that look at human behavior and look at human manners. And if you want those high band scores like a band 8 or a band 9, then you must do your best to have these thoughts come to mind. Everybody got that? Yes? Thumbs up. Lewis says e.g. like saying thank you and eating with etiquette. Absolutely. Okay, Lewis says there are ways to walk, eat that are gentle and polite. Domenico says yes. So think scientifically. Okay? All right, everybody gets it. Carolina, Lewis, lots of thumbs up. Good. Okay, so again, why should parents teach their children good manners? They are the first role models, impact their children in the first 5 years of life where critical learning is achieved. Why should schools teach good manners? What do you think? So, what is the school environment? What's unique about the school environment? Again, what would a sociologist say? What would an anthropologist say? What would a child psychologist say in this context, right? So schools clearly need to reassure good manners or strengthen good manners if you don't know the word reassure. Okay, they are the first large scale social interaction place to meet strangers and cohorts. Okay. Cohorts is a good word to know, everybody. Cohorts means the same age group. If you are finding some new vocabulary like cohorts, make sure that you're writing it down and learning it. Okay, the vocabulary I'm teaching you in these classes are very, very useful. Okay, and of course it's structured learning. All right. So, what is my opinion? Parents need to set the foundation for good manners. Schools need to strengthen good manners. Both should be responsible. Okay, that's my opinion. So now the thesis statement. Okay, remember step 4 is writing a quality thesis statement. Now this is kind of my thesis already, but I need to put this into a good sentence with clear wording, parallel grammar, and concise language. Again, for those of you watching, if you're unfamiliar with these concepts like a thesis statement, sign up for the premium course. Click the big red button that's above my head there. Once you've signed up, go to your My Student account. In your IELTS exam workbook study plans, download the 30 or 60-day study plan. Make sure that you use the interactive course. Open up the writing section, part 2, when you get to that part, and then go through the steps of essay planning and the different structures, and learn to write for a high quality IELTS essay or university college essay, because they follow these same structures of planning and understanding and then composing. Okay, so make sure you do that. All right. Okay, so let's do that now for this work, everybody. Anna says, what does parallel grammar mean? Parallel grammar, Anna, means that if your first point is an adjective noun, then your second point has to be an adjective noun. I'll show you in just a moment, Anna, what parallel grammar means. Okay, parallel grammar is an important part of good writing or quality writing. So the thesis statement. Okay, parents play a fundamental role in teaching children good manners, and schools contribute a vital, or I'm going to call it a vital environment to strengthening youth positive behaviors and I believe both are necessary. Okay. All right. So here Anna's asking, what is parallel grammar? So parallel grammar means that your points, ideally, so in a great thesis, your points, point 1 here, parents play a fundamental role in teaching children good manners. This is point number 1 of my thesis, okay? Which will be paragraph 1 later in the essay, okay? Now here I have a comma. So point 1 is a full sentence, right? Parents play a fundamental role in teaching children good manners. So it's a full sentence thesis point. Okay, everybody following me so far? Now, point 2, which will be my second paragraph, is schools contribute a vital environment. An important environment. I'm still thinking about that adjective. Now, why am I playing with the words here? Because, Anna, to answer your question, see, it's fundamental role. So I have an adjective noun in this part of the phrase. So I'm trying to think of an adjective noun to match with this in my second phrase, because this first phrase and this second phrase has to ideally follow the exact same grammar form. Now, if you're using a full phrase like what I'm doing here, it gets quite tricky because you have to think about the same grammar for the second phrase. But if your points are just a noun or an adjective noun, it's a little bit simpler. Okay. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Okay. So schools contribute an important environment. Instead of important, I'm going to actually use the word impactful. Environment to strengthen youth positive behavior. I don't like the strengthen youth positive behavior, but I have to have parallel grammar there because in teaching children good manners. So to, right? So in is a preposition, to is a preposition. Teaching is ing verb, so strengthening has to be ing verb. Now, strengthening youth positive is not very good. Okay. Maybe we'll use assuring from the planning. Okay. So schools contribute an impactful environment to reassuring children, youth. I still don't like it. Now, if I get stuck, so I'm honestly a little bit stuck here for how to word this so it's nice, natural language. So what I'm going to do, if I were in the real IELTS exam, is I just leave it. I know what I'm writing, so I would just leave that. I would underline it to make sure that I remind myself to come back and fix it later. Okay, but instead of getting my brain caught or stuck on a part like this, I would just highlight it, underline it, and then I'll come back and fix it because I might think of a better way to word that or phrase it once I write the essay. If I don't, then I might have to change it a bit. I might have to change both aspects a little bit. Everybody following me so far? So I'm showing you how to think through a problem, okay? How to keep your flow of thinking as a writer. All right, if you get really stuck for ideas, stuck for words, even with lots of vocabulary that can happen, then just leave it, come back to it. You can rephrase it after. Write the essay, write the introduction, write the body paragraphs, and then take a look at your thesis again and reword it to make it smoother and more concise. Now, this is where the computer-based exam is much better because it's much easier to make these corrections than in the paper-based. Okay, so I'm ready to write the introductory paragraph. In the introductory paragraph, I have a hook, background, and thesis. Okay, the hook is an interesting statement that has the topic and catches the reader's attention. So let's write a hook for this. Okay, the hook is teaching manners to children. All right, now what's an interesting statement about that? All right, I'll come up with one and you come up with one. Now again, there are still some schools, some places that say, oh, a hook is not important, although a lot of teachers now are realizing that even though the IELTS does not tell you that you need a hook, they say, oh, you don't need a hook. A lot of teachers are realizing that candidates who write a hook for their task 2 tend to get better scores. Okay? Anna says, being well-mannered since childhood is highly important in modern humanity. Okay, how about this one? Teaching children good manners is the foundation of human civilization. All right. I bet you that would be impactful. What do you think? So, and you can clearly see now, why a good hook can lead to a higher band score, because that hook definitely captures your examiner or your reader's attention. Teaching children good manners is the foundation of civilization, right? Arguably, if we did not concern ourselves with teaching children good manners, civilization would probably fall apart. Okay, it's arguable, right? Now we have the background. The background is a definition of the topic and the importance of the topic, right? Okay, so all right, so harmony and prosperity in a society is achieved through education, through educating children preferable ways to interact with their environment and social circles. All right. We could make that simpler. We could probably just say environment. Social circles are part of the environment, but I do want to emphasize that here. All right, Lewis says, a holistic education is essential in children's development. That's too general, Lewis, in the chat. Lewis says, hook 2, inculcating children responsible manners. I would use the word indoctrinating instead of inculcating. Manners is significant in their overall development. Okay. All right, and then I take my thesis statement, and I'll reword that after in the introduction to make it read better. Okay, I can already review my introductory paragraph and see how it reads. Keep writing, students, by the way. Domenico, Anna, Lewis, you're doing fantastic. Single and savvy. Don't be shy. Okay. We have a few more in the class. Priya, hopefully you're still watching as well. Anahita. Okay, Single and Savvy says, imagine a society where every child grows up knowing how to be kind and respectful to others. Achieving such a community raises an important question. Who holds the sole responsibility for teaching children good manners? It's very philosophical, Single and Savvy. It sounds nice, but it's not overly effective as a persuasive essay. So you do have to be cautious with that kind of writing. Generally in school, in academics, in university, it's advised to not write that way. So the way that you're writing, Single and Savvy, is more like for like a magazine article, and in the general IELTS I think it's more effective. In the academic IELTS it's not a very academic form of writing, so be careful about that. Okay, if you compare it to mine, then you see exactly what I mean. So here, let's read this introduction, and this is kind of just the standard of academic writing. So teaching children good manners is the foundation of human civilization. Harmony and prosperity in a society is achieved through educating children preferable ways to interact with their environment and social circles. Parents play a fundamental role in this education. I'm going to change this right away because I'm already mentioning what it is. And this is why, again, like I say, don't worry too much about parallel grammar while you're planning, because you might change, or you likely will change, your thesis statement as you put it into the introduction. Okay, is everybody with me so far? Everybody following me? Okay. And schools contribute an impactful environment to reassuring manners. And I believe both are possible. So see, now that part that I was worried about, it's much better. Okay. All right, so now we've got parallel grammar. Parents play a fundamental role in this education, and schools contribute an impactful environment to such manners. Okay, good. In fact, I'm going to actually change this to practice environment. For these manners, okay? And I believe both are necessary. Lois says, if we use our paraphrase as a background, would it be too simple to get a band 8 plus? I think so, Lewis. I think in most cases, just using the paraphrase for your background is overly simple to get a band 8. Over the years, all of the band 8, 8.5s that I've seen students get come from more effective forms of writing, for sure. Okay, so here we go. Teaching children good manners is the foundation of human civilization. Harmony and prosperity in a society is achieved through educating children, educating youth. Let's not repeat here. Preferable ways to interact with their environment and social circles. Parents play a fundamental role in this development. I think I've used education too much here. And schools contribute a practice environment for these manners, and I believe both are necessary. Okay. Good. Now we have a strong introductory paragraph with outstanding phrasing, good parallel grammar. Anna, does that make sense now regarding the parallel grammar of the point? So parents play a fundamental role in this development. Schools contribute a practice environment for these manners. You see how the grammar of these two phrases for these 2 points is the exact same? And I believe both are necessary. Okay, that's standalone, right? So that's what you want to achieve for that parallel grammar. Does that make sense? All right, now we can write our body paragraph 1. Okay, so here parents play a fundamental role, plus my opinion. Okay, and then body paragraph 2, of course, will be schools are practice environment, plus my opinion. And then the conclusion will bring it all together with points, argument, and take-home message. Okay, so that's the structure of the essay. Again, for those of you watching, if you're unsure what's going on or I'm losing you, if the class is moving a little bit too fast, again, in that part of the course that I just showed you at aehelp.com, oh, Carolina, you beat me to it. Thank you. So in that course, you can find the structure of correct essay writing. So you will see that there's a very clear outline for what the essay looks like. Okay. This is an important rule, by the way. Know your audience. I wonder if you can see that little alien. Yes, you can, right there. Everybody sees that little alien there? Yes. We come in peace sign. This is an important point to keep in mind, for sure. Okay, so do remember, everybody, that your audience, your reader, your IELTS examiner, they don't know what you know. They're not thinking the same as what you're thinking. Okay, don't assume that. They don't have the same perspective as you. They might think, no, only parents are responsible for teaching manners. Schools have a different job. Their job is to teach kids math, reading, writing, and it's not to teach them manners. Okay, and they are smart and they will analyze the information that you give them. Okay, so your reader is like an alien. They're very, very smart. They might even be green. I don't know. They do come in peace. The examiner is friendly. And they will analyze your thinking. Okay, so again, check that out in the course at aehelp.com. Again, highly valuable. We train thousands of students every month to get those better scores. Clicking that big red button. Okay. Back to body paragraph 1 here. So body paragraph 1 is parents play a fundamental role and my opinion. Okay, so Mums and dads. Now, if you want to be more academic, mothers and fathers. Okay, only the first letter is capital. Okay, mothers and fathers are the first role models to educate their offspring about the world around them, including appropriate ways to behave in situations and with others. Okay, so here, mothers and fathers are the first role models to educate their offspring about the world around them, including appropriate ways to behave in situations and with others. Okay, and then the explanation. Indeed, scientists have discovered that the manners learned in the first 5 years of life where children spend 90% or more of their time with their parents have a lifelong impact. Okay, so again, academic students, academic IELTS, remember numbers, right? So numbers, they're your friends. I keep saying that, okay? Okay, so indeed, scientists have discovered that the manners learned in the first 5 years of life, where children spend 90% or more of their time with their parents, have a lifelong impact. Therefore, it is vital that guardians teach their children to speak politely, saying please and thank you, among many other important social behaviors. I strongly believe that this is necessary for success, but it is also important to practice these behaviors in school. Okay? All right. So there is my body paragraph 1. It includes my opinion. It's first person. Okay? All right. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Lois says, for example, children learn eating etiquette, the proper way to walk and communicate with their friends effectively. All these lessons are taught by their parents through setting family rules and examples. Yes, Lois, very good. Okay, nice. Lois, that's a good body paragraph 1. You're on the right track. Single and Savvy writes, on one hand, parents play a foundational role in instilling good manners in their children as primary caregivers and first teachers. They are uniquely positioned to shape their children's behavior from a young age. The home setting provides the ideal platform for parents to reinforce proper manners through daily interactions and investing morals and ethic, instilling is better there, single and savvy, instilling morals in them. Okay, good, single and savvy, not bad. I would probably use the reinforce in the next paragraph, in the one for schools. So reinforce is a very nice word. I would use it for schools. Okay, something like this. Check it out. Okay. Indeed, and Anahita's probably smiling, indeed is very useful in essay writing like this. We don't use it in speaking so much. Indeed, schools are the ideal environment for positive behaviors that children learn at home or have learned at home to be reinforced through daily practice. Okay, so that's where I would use the word reinforce. Just one more note, single and savvy and everybody, I would not use on the one hand, on the other hand here, because that makes it feel like it's an opposite. And I don't think we're dealing with opposites here. I think we're dealing with complementary. So schools complement. And I can even write that. Okay, so educational environments where children meet with larger groups of instructors and cohorts forming their first friendships, can effectively complement the manners that had been instilled during infancy in the home. Okay, and then we can even go back to that same example of the please and thank you by successfully gaining the respect, trust, and response of peers through asking politely, by saying please. Good manners become lifelong habits. Okay, so you can kind of use that same example. Students, the way to connect paragraphs first and foremost is through content, not through words like on the one hand, on the other hand, and furthermore. Those words are good, okay? Those are good words and you should use them. But the primary method, the primary way to write well and to write with good cohesion, where it kind of glues together, is with great content. So when you have please and thank you in your example for body paragraph 1 for good manners, and you use it again in body paragraph 2 to strengthen your second point, that creates a lot of cohesion. Okay, everybody got that? Lois, I would not use on another hand. It's awkward. Okay, everybody following me so far? So without a doubt, schools too must contribute or must play a role. I want to make sure I'm not repeating myself here. All right, etiquette. Carolina, thank you for the thumbs up. Okay, so far so good. So here's my second body paragraph. Ideally, students, when you're writing in the IELTS, you are reviewing each paragraph after you finish writing it. So here, I should read this paragraph before I write the conclusion. Indeed, schools are the ideal environment for positive behaviors that children have learned at home to be reinforced through daily practice. Educational environments where children meet with larger, so public schools, let's keep a little bit different. Public schools, right? I'm taking out all that repetition. Our brain tends to repeat once it finds an idea, so it's through review that we can remove that repetition. Public schools, comma, where children meet with larger groups of instructors. We don't even need larger, just groups of instructors and cohorts forming their first friendships, comma, can effectively complement the manners, complement learning for strengthening the manners that had been instilled during infancy at home. During the first half decade in the home. I like that better. By successfully gaining the respect, trust, and response of peers through asking politely, by saying please, good manners become lifelong habits. So without a doubt, schools too must be a part of educating etiquette. Let's put that first person voice in there. So without a doubt, I ascertain that schools too must be a part of educating etiquette. Now this body paragraph reads much better with all those corrections. Quite a few corrections and important ones. Band 7 before those corrections, definitely much closer to band 9 with those corrections. Okay. Finally, I'm ready for the conclusion. Before I get there, let me take a look at what you're writing in there. Single and savvy, Lewis, lots of contributions. That's great. Others, do the same. Again, everybody, this is very similar to a question that came up near the end of May in many IELTS exams. Single and Savvy says, schools provide a structured learning environment where professional educators skilled in teaching social behavior alongside academic subjects also have a significant role to play in instilling good manners. Children spend a considerable amount of time in school. Single and Savvy, you're doing awesome. Instead of writing children spend a considerable amount of time in school, name it. So say children spend an average of, what is it? At least 6, maybe 7 hours, right? 8:30 to 3. We could say 7 hours. So an average of 35 hours each week in school, right? Again, academic writing, you can think numbers. So think numbers, Single and Savvy. That will boost your coherence. So children spend an average of 35 hours each week in school for 35 weeks a year, right? So you can really give a lot of numbers for 12 years or for 20 years, right? It's a lot of time. Okay. Priya says, body paragraph 2. Good, Priya. Priya writes, schools are the next step to reinforce those learned behaviors. Priya, awesome. Educational institutes include teachers and peers where kids meet groups to develop the respectful and politeful ways of speaking and behaving they learned at home. Priya, very good. Very, very nice. Okay. Domenico says, a productive and harmonious society is attained by educating young individuals on the preferred ways to interact with their environment and social circles. For the background, right? Domenico, very good. Good. Nice. Well done, students. So far, so good. Points, conclusion. In conclusion, Teaching manners takes a lot of time and effort. Is this a good way to start my conclusion, everybody? In conclusion, teaching manners takes a lot of time and effort. Is that a good start to my conclusion? Anna says yes. Let's see. Anybody else's opinion on that? Anahita says no. Why not, Anahita? Why is that not good? Lewis says, yep, it's short and punchy. I kind of agree with Anahita here, though. I don't think it's the best way. Why not, Anahita? Why is that not a good way to start my conclusion? I agree with you. And I would love for you to explain why. Why is that, Anahita? Why is this not a good way? So a lot of people would think that, and in high school, you know, the teacher might accept that, but in university, definitely not. They would say, what? Okay. Anahita says, maybe that's better for the take-home message. Lewis says it doesn't actually capture the points. Yeah, it seems off topic, right? It's not really what we're talking about here. We're talking about who teaches good manners. We're not talking about what it takes to teach. So the essay focuses on who teaches good manners and not what it requires. Okay? So much. So it's a little bit off topic. So you have to be very careful about that in your conclusion. So no, this would not be good, even though at first I feel like, oh, that's what I want to write. So in conclusion, teaching manners requires both the parents and schools' efforts. Okay, that's going to be better. So in conclusion, teaching manners requires both the parents and schools' efforts. That makes more sense. Okay. I strongly believe, let's get my opinion in there, the former are responsible to introduce and indoctrinate positive behaviors and their social behaviors, as where the latter is needed for long-term reinforcement of such behaviors or etiquette. And then the take-home message. Good manners start in the home. And continue in school. I'm going to keep it simple. All right, so now I can read the conclusion and make sure that it sounds good. I don't have a lot of repetition or redundancy, and I'm not introducing new ideas. Okay, so in conclusion, teaching manners requires both the parents and schools' efforts. I need my apostrophes because efforts here is possessive, so I need it on both the parents and schools. Parents' efforts, schools' efforts. I strongly believe the former are responsible to introduce and indoctrinate positive social behaviors, as where the latter is needed for long-term reinforcement of such etiquette. Teaching good manners must start in the home and continue in school. Okay, and I might add the word therefore here. just to really emphasize that point. Okay, now I can read the whole essay and the question, make sure it makes sense. When you're practicing at home, definitely read the question, read the essay, make sure it makes sense, okay? The word count here is 304 words. It's about a perfect length, okay? So 304 words, definitely band 8 to band 9. Here we go. Let's take a look. Okay, again, for those of you just joining, it's not a kind of so concept here. Domenico, who is in the class, took the IELTS and he said, yeah, this was kind of the same question I got at the end of May in my IELTS exam. Here it is. Some people feel that parents should be responsible to teach their children good manners, while others feel that this is also the responsibility of schools. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Right? At least 250 words. So we're only 20% over, and that's a good number. Okay? All right, so with a bit of planning, we know what to write. And the essay reads like this. Teaching children good manners is the foundation of human civilization. Harmony and prosperity in a society is achieved through educating youth preferable ways to interact with their environment and social circles. Parents play a fundamental role in this development, and schools contribute a practice environment for these manners. And I believe both are necessary. Mothers and fathers are the first role models to educate their offspring about the world around them, including appropriate ways to behave in situations with others. Indeed, scientists have discovered that the manners learned in the first 5 years of life, where children spend 90% or more of their time with their parents, have a lifelong impact. Therefore, it is vital for guardians to teach their children to speak politely, saying please and thank you, among many other important social behaviors. I strongly believe that this is necessary for success, but it is also important to practice these behaviors in school. Indeed, schools are the ideal environment for positive behaviors that children have learned at home, to be reinforced through daily practice. Public schools, where children meet with groups of instructors and cohorts, forming their first friendships, can effectively complement strengthening the manners that had been instilled during the first half decade in the home. Okay, just cleaning it up a bit. By successfully gaining the respect, trust, and response of peers through asking politely, by saying please, good manners become lifelong habits. So without a doubt, I ascertain that schools too must be a part of etiquette training. Still reducing that redundancy in words or word repetition. In conclusion, teaching manners requires both the parents' and schools' efforts. I strongly believe the former are responsible to introduce and indoctrinate positive social behaviors, as where the latter is needed for long-term reinforcement of such etiquette. Therefore, teaching good manners must start in the home and continue in school. Okay, good. So that's about the right length, content for that question, everybody. I'm going to post that on our YouTube community board along with the question. I post lots of task 2 writings there, so for all of the viewers out there, you can watch the YouTube channel daily and check out those posts for your practice. Again, I'm not the be-all of academic writing. These are the standard rules of essay writing taught in schools, taught in high schools, colleges, universities, all across Canada, all across the US, UK, Australia. There are standard rules. Some people look at Task 2 just like the IELTS. They go, oh, it's for the IELTS, and I need to learn the IELTS way of Task 2 and this and that. No. IELTS Task 2 is a persuasive essay. IELTS Task 1 academic is an expository essay. General IELTS Task 1 is a narrative letter or narrative essay piece. You need to understand these basics. The place to learn that is through your premium package at aehelp.com for academic, gltshelp.com through general. Learning proper essay writing will not only help you achieve a better score in your next IELTS exam, but will also help you achieve better writing for the rest of your life, especially for colleges and universities also. Okay, everybody? So do check us out there. Sign up for the premium course. Again, spend $30, $40. Save yourself a lot of headache for other parts of life. Not having to resit the IELTS, not having to waste a ton of time in university. Lewis, I know you're in New Zealand and you're probably dealing with essays all the time. I'm sure you can sympathize with what I'm saying. You're probably like, yes, that essay structure that Adrian's teaching is very familiar with this. Domenico, there you go. Domenico says, my supervisor is obsessed with these academic rules. They are, Domenico. I don't get into it. So people think I get into it a lot. Wait till you get to university. Domenico knows. Professors and instructors are obsessed with these rules of essay writing, of first, second, third person, narrative, persuasive. If you don't know them going into the IELTS, you're going to be shocked when you get into university. Okay? So learn them through the premium package. Okay? I absolutely agree with you, Domenico. They are obsessed with the rules of these essay formats. They structure academic communication. It makes sense. Okay, everybody. See you in 40 minutes for reading. That will be an all chat class, and it will be reading about the London Underground. Okay. All right. Lois says, yes, that is valid. Yeah, you're going to see that in schools all the time. I wrote thousands of essays in my university degree, and they all followed these rules. Okay, everybody. See you in 40 minutes. Awesome work, Single and Savvy. Really nice writing. Lois, Domenico, thank you for contributing the question. Carolina for moderating. That was an awesome class. Anahita, great ideas. Very clever perspectives. Anna, smart brainstorming. Very nice, everybody. Let's keep it up. Bye for now. I'll see you soon.